The content in this video reflects my personal opinions. Some statements may not be absolute facts. I encourage you to form your own opinions based on what you see and hear. Harassment, bullying, or hate towards anyone mentioned or shown in this content will not be tolerated. Thank you for watching respectfully. Before we talk about TikTok, the AI-generated readings, pregnancy predictions, he's cheating on me, we need to talk about myself. I know a lot of people are going to ask, Luna, where do you get off talking about tarot? And why are you making a video about tarot readers on TikTok? Like, where do you get off? Some of you might have just recently found me. Hi, I know I have a lot of new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for your support of this new channel and where this is going. This means a lot to me as I'm trying to get my footing and figure this series out and where this goes. But my name is Luna. Hi, I've been in the paranormal and spiritual field for going on about 9 years now. Most of that, I was a tarot reader, a professional tarot reader, and may I add, an ethical tarot reader. And we'll go over ethics and what that looks like in tarot readings. Now, I do have to say, I was a tarot reader on TikTok for very many years. I was actually pretty successful at it that I was able to quit my marketing job as my full 9-to-5 job and do tarot as a full-time living, pay my bills, eat, and everything. Yeah, I mean, in TikTok's time, when you were a tarot reader, when TikTok was doing great, you could make a lot of money. And I have to say I wasn't like a millionaire or anything, but it definitely paid the bills and it paid more than my marketing job. So yes, I do know what I'm talking about. I've seen the upsides, I've seen the downsides, I've seen the drama. I've been involved in the drama when I didn't want to be. I've seen tarot at its finest on TikTok to the now turning into what the shitstorm it is today. And the reason why I'm doing this episode is because it is important to me. If you guys have never followed me on my original account before I took down all of the content just to make it strictly my tarot business TikTok, I gained about 67,000 followers from being a tarot reader on TikTok. Yeah, holy shit. That's a lot of fucking people. I took my following and I said, you know what? I'm really tired of seeing these bullshit readers all over TikTok. So I became a debunker. And let me tell you what, the tarot community was not having it. They were not happy with me. The pushback, the abuse, just everything that happened. To me, it just wasn't worth it anymore. I woke up in 2026 and said to my husband, I don't want to be the bad guy on TikTok anymore. I'm tired of arguing with people who are not using their brains, who just don't care about people, ethics, and all of the above. So I figured, you know what, YouTube might like to hear this story. They might like to hear my story. They might like to understand where this has gone wrong, why tarot is so dangerous now. It's not the beautiful art it was meant to be. It's been commercialized and turned into something extremely dangerous. So that is who I am. That is where I can get off actually talking about this. So the disclaimers in the front of the video are there for a reason. I understand not a lot of people are going to like what I have to say, but it isn't about me being right or wrong. It isn't me about being, this is the end all be all what Luna says. This is about sharing facts, and this is about opening people's minds to what tarot should be. And I'm very passionate about this. So I will try to set my passions and my emotions aside as much as possible and stick straight to the facts for you guys. Okay? So let's go ahead and get into this really juicy video. First, let's understand what tarot is and where it came from. I think it's important that we understand the history first. Tarot did not begin as mysticism. In the 15th century in northern Italy, tarot, or tarocchi, I think that's how you say it properly, was a card game, a social game notably played, but there was no occult meaning attached to it. It wasn't until the late 1700s a French writer, Antoine Carte de Gobelin, I think that's how you say his name, again, I'm just a girl from Oregon, claimed tarot contained ancient Egyptian wisdom. There's no historical evidence for that, but the idea stuck. And that claim transformed tarot from a card game into an esoteric system. In the late 1800s, occult groups like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn began assigning structured symbolic correspondence to the cards, astrology, Kabbalah, elemental systems. Then in 1909, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck was published. Arthur Rider-Waite worked with artist Pamela Coleman Smith to create imagery that was intentionally symbolic and layered. In 1910, Waite published the pictorial key to the tarot. He didn't present tarot as a yes or no or a fortune machine. He presented it as allegorical, spiritual, and archetypal. Later, Paul Foster in 1947 wrote about tarot as a system of esoteric psychology. Eden Gray in 1960 made tarot accessible but emphasized spreads and interpretations. Rachel Pollack in 1980 tied tarot deeply to Jungian archetypal and inner development. These authors treated tarot as symbolic language, layered, interpretive, and reflective, not predictive vending machines of spirituality. There is no global tarot license, no governing board, no certification requirement. You can just go buy a deck on Amazon for $20 and declare yourself a psychic by Thursday. That's not sarcasm, that's reality. But despite the lack of regulation, professional organizations formed decades ago. There are a few organizations here. The American Tarot Association, founded in 1969. The Tarot Association of the British Isles, founded in 1989. The Tarot Guild, founded in 2004. These organizations did emphasize not diagnosing medical conditions, not giving legal advice, avoiding fatalistic predictions, encouraging client autonomy, maintaining confidentiality. Do we notice something here, readers from TikTok? The ethical concern isn't whether tarot is real, it's about responsibility. Because tarot often involves vulnerable people like heartbreak, grief, anxiety, and uncertainty. Ethics exist because vulnerability exists. The ethics are voluntary, but when something is voluntary, standards vary. Right, TikTok? So, TikTok launches globally in 2018. Tarot content did exist early on, in small spiritual communities though. It exploded in, you guessed it, 2020 when the pandemic hit. Isolation, fear, breakups, financial instability happened to so many people. So here we are finding millions of people scrolling at 2 a.m. looking for answers, and then all of a sudden, boom, we get this. If this video found you, it was meant for you. Boy, is that a genius sentence. It reframes algorithm distribution as destiny. It transforms random scrolling into fate. And it works. The hashtag tarot now has billions of views. Live readings are now monetized. Courses teaching people how to start a tarot business are everywhere. Tarot didn't just grow, it scaled. And when something scales rapidly without regulation, quality becomes unpredictable.
Well, I would say so. Yes, they do think of you. Especially when there's times alone, they do have a little bit of a think about you.
No, the cards don't really do how long. Private reading would, though. If you want to do a private reading, I have another way to figure out timing, but not for one card. The link's in my bio, Christy. I think it's $50 for 30 minutes, so you can get all your questions answered, okay?
So it's like you're wanting a traditional love, someone that, you know how people believe back in the days or whatever, like how marriage is supposed to be. It's like you're wanting a higher love, a higher commitment. You know, someone that's going to give you commitment. It's like you don't want just someone that's going to lay down with you or, you know, be like situationship. It's like you want a true love. You want a real love. And I feel like, in a sense, you have been kind of trapped in your head. It's like maybe you've been feeling like, well, damn, I've been working towards this. I've been doing work. I've been manifesting.
Now we know TikTok is not neutral. It is engineered to maximize retention and emotional reaction. It does not reward nuance, it rewards intensity. So what kind of tarot performs well? Well, here's what not performs well. Let's examine the archetypal symbol of the hermit. No, that's definitely not going to do well on TikTok because I tried that. It's more along the lines of, he's hiding something. You're about to find out the truth. I see a third party. Let's be honest. Fear performs, drama performs, and pregnancy scares perform. So there is something that does help explain this, and it is the Barnum effect. It was demonstrated in 1948 by the psychologist Bertram Forer. He shows that people interpret vague statements as deeply personal. Kind of like, you've been hurt, but you're strong. That applies to almost everyone. Combine that with algorithm, amplification, and you get the viral spirituality. All right, imagine you're scrolling on TikTok. You come past a tarot reader's video and boom, this is for whoever needs to see it. The collective readings, they rely on broad emotional language, right? The viewer then fills in the blanks. Then tens and thousands of comments come rolling in under this video. Wow, this was so accurate. How did you know? Wow, this really resonated. That's social proof. Social proof strengthens belief. Belief increases engagement. Engagement increases visibility. The algorithm implies belief loops, and it becomes self-reinforcing. So we all know that TikTok gifts exist. If you don't know what that is, people take their hard-earned money, they turn it into TikTok coins or currency, and then they spend it on these cute little gifts that you can send in TikTok lives, which then translates to money in the creator's pocket. So how do these creators keep you coming back and spending more of this money? Cliffhangers, right? So you're scrolling through TikTok and you see this live, and this psychic tarot reader comes up, and you see them say, let me pull one more card. I'm seeing something intense. Suspense cycles increase watch time, guys. Watch time increases revenue. Intensity is incentivized. Accuracy is not. So then you find this creator and you love them. And this is where parasocial relationships exist within social media. Because we're talking about TikTok, so we'll talk about TikTok parasocial relationships. Then the viewer feels close to these creators. Then they start to trust them. So when a creator says, Spirit is showing me something about your relationship, it really feels personal, even though it's broadcasted to thousands. Spiritual authority layered on parasocial attachment is powerful. That's why boundaries matter more online than in private readings. So sometimes this is hard to determine. Does this psychic like me? Does this tarot reader like me? Now you're questioning all of this, but you show up to them daily. You spend their money on them. I'm not saying that all of them are horrible people and that you really don't have a parasocial relationship with them that matters. But what I'm saying is that some of these readers, these scammers and frauds, are really, really feeding off of the fact of your insecurities, the fact that you need them. So they'll keep feeding into it. And this works because if it didn't, there wouldn't be millions of these readers all over TikTok.
Nora and Justice be together. Got your Knight of Swords. This is no. There's a lot of arguing and Russian energy here too. It's hard to see past that to be able to tell you if you're going to be together or not.
So, 9 of Wands. I think he is. He might be a little shy. For Rebecca, is Isaac Abraham not interested in me anymore? Is Isaac Abraham not interested in me anymore? Temperance and the 9 of Cups. No, I'm still seeing interest, babe. I'm still seeing interest. There's definitely a reason as to... I'm assuming that they've pulled back their energy. There's a reason as to that. What it is, I'm not quite sure. We'd have to go deeper, but they're still interested.
Okay, let's move from cringe to consequences. So, let's talk about a reader implies the most famous stuff we see on TikTok. I see illness. I see miscarriage. You're pregnant. Or the most famous one, he's cheating. Guys, that plants suggestion. Suggestion influences behavior. It can create anxiety spirals, relationship paranoia, and medical fear. These are not neutral statements. They carry psychological weight. You cannot ethically diagnose pregnancy from cardboard and medieval artwork. I don't care how intuitive you feel. Imagine you tell someone you don't know on TikTok Live as a creator, and they ask you, is he cheating on me? And you say yes, because you pull the devil card or some stupid shit like that. then all of a sudden this person starts to spiral because, one, mentally, spiritually, and physically, they might be going through something, right? We don't know their medical diagnosis. We don't know their mental state. We don't know where they come from. But because you're willing to take $2 from their pocket, you're willing to say yes to them when you don't even know what the fuck you're doing, right? Then this person goes, breaks up with their husband, boyfriend, whoever it is, ruins their whole entire relationship. Now let's just put a theory out there. What if her boyfriend / girlfriend / partner, whoever it is, husband, wife, they were really just quiet and distant because they were planning something big, astronomical. Maybe they just bought a house and wanted to surprise her. This is what I'm saying, guys. Words have consequences. And this isn't just about pulling tarot and making money. These people truly believe that tarot is an end-all, be-all. They believe every single word that you say because maybe mentally they're not strong enough to make their own decisions. Maybe they don't know about the consequences of tarot like you are supposed to. So as a spiritual person, as a tarot reader, for someone who charges, one of the biggest things should be ethics. And we have thrown ethics right out the fucking window, all for $2 or a galaxy on TikTok. So know that it might not affect you, but you might have just ruined someone's life. And somebody who has been trying to get pregnant for years, and you keep telling them that, and they just keep spending thousands of dollars over years going to you, hoping that one day it's going to be correct. That's sad. We need to stop doing that. These things really do have consequences. And it gets worse. It gets fucking worse. I can't even make this up. I have just recently found out that readers are using ChatGPT on lives and in their readings. God, I wish it wasn't true. Pinch me, somebody. Seriously. So now, some creators are using ChatGPT or similar tools to script readings. They input prompts like, give me a love reading where the man is cheating. Then they copy that output and they present it as intuitive fucking download. AI produces emotional, intelligent sounding text based on probability patterns. Okay? So if you're selling AI generated readings as a psychic insight, that is misinterpretation. And you would think transparency matters, but it doesn't. Spirituality without transparency becomes branding. Why don't we just set up a robot on TikTok Live and give it a fucking tarot card? Right? Because honestly, that is exactly what's happening, except we've taken the robot out and the human has become the middleman. Are you fucking kidding me? And people are eating this shit up. Literally. All right, it's time that we talk about my complete arch nemesis on TikTok. And the one thing that I have spent so many years debunking on TikTok is the fucking yes or no questions. Because this is where the platform fundamentally changes the practice. Historically, tarot was interpretive. It was symbolic and it was layered. But TikTok runs on speed. You have seconds to hook someone. Nuance never goes viral, certainty does. So instead of what dynamic is unfolding in this relationship, we get, is he cheating? Yes or no. Instead of what energy surrounds your health right now, we get, are you pregnant? Yes or no. Yes and no content thrives on TikTok because it's fast, it's digestible, and it's dramatic. And it creates immediate emotional spikes. When the reader says yes, that hits your nervous system instantly. There is no processing, no interpretation, no accountability, no complexity. It's binary, and binary answers feel powerful. But tarot was never structurally built for binary certainty. When people did attempt yes or no methods, they required structured systems, multiple card confirmations, reversals, elemental dignities, not the dramatic pull with suspense music. On TikTok, though, it's often one card, one sentence, one conclusion. That's not interpretation, that's reduction. And here's the deeper issue. Yes or no removes responsibility from the reader. If you say, yes, he's cheating, and it was absolutely fucking wrong, the reader's just going to say, well, the energy shifted. If you say, no, I'm not pregnant, that was wrong, the reader's going to say, it really wasn't your message. Binary content increases virality. It decreases integrity. And psychologically, binary answers are addictive because humans crave certainty, especially in heartbreak, anxiety, and health fears. TikTok yes or no tarot feeds that craving. It doesn't encourage reflection, it delivers dopamine, and dopamine keeps people scrolling. End of story. Literally ask your deck if it does yes or no's. It's going to tell you. Literally Google, it will tell you. If you don't know how to read tarot, just say that. Sonia, this is going to be extremely embarrassing for you because I did exactly what you said. So this is my tarot deck I actually created from the ground up. So I'm going to ask my tarot deck, do you do yes or no questions? Not getting anything in there. So I decided to use Google, okay? I said, is tarot intended for yes or no? You see that big word right there? No. Traditional tarot is not designed for simple yes or no questions, but rather for deep, nuanced interpretation and insight into complex situations. While some readers adapt it for yes or no questions or use specialized decks, these are not the card's primary use or purpose. So Luna, let's hold them accountable. Guys, I have tried for years holding these assholes accountable, okay? Here's what happens. When, let's say their prediction fails, they always turn to a few things. Well, the energy shifted. The message wasn't for you. Spirit changed it. So instead of just saying, yeah, you're right, that was just for entertainment purposes or whatever, they shift it to spiritual beliefs. They switch it to something that you can't argue with, you know? So now you're playing their stupid, silly little game of fairy tale and belief and make-believe, right? So now they're hiding behind psychic abilities and spiritual beliefs. How do you argue with that, right? You can't. They make it almost impossible. It's like a vicious emotional cycle of abuse with these readers. So the thing is when there is no peer review, there is no governing insight, it's just vibes, and vibes don't protect vulnerable people. So in the end of the day, guys, we have to just stop feeding into the bullshit. We have to know that tarot is for entertainment purposes, and it's always going to be for guidance and guidance only, which means it's always going to be open to interpretation. And most of the time, it is going to relate to almost any person that is watching. As a professional tarot reader myself, I'm not going to say that I'm better than anyone else, but I'm going to say I worked on ethics. And whenever I did readings, I always let people know that, listen, this is literally for just guidance. You, in the end of the day, are the author of your story. You were handed a metaphorical pen and book at birth for you to write your fucking story, right? If you're looking for insight or just a little bit of guidance and you want to pull some cards or have someone do it for you that understands the tarot and has studied it, right? That's important. I don't see anything wrong with that. But what I do see wrong is when readers start hiding behind psychic abilities and hiding behind AI and all of this woo-woo bullshit and saying like, well, I see that you're going to get this job, but this is what you have to do. There should be no have to. There should be no end all be all. It should just be guidance, and it should be left open to interpretation for the other person to then create their own outcomes. Time is always evolving. Things are always changing based off of the decisions you make. And these readers are taking that away from you. They are taking away your free will as a human being to make your own decisions. Why? Because I believe, and this is my personal opinion, that humans have become weak, that they don't want to put in the hard work. They don't want to put in their own spiritual guidance. They don't want to put in their shadow work. When have we taken spirituality out of spiritualism. It's wild to me. Okay, humans, you're gonna have to put work in. You can't just sit around expecting things to happen to you, right? And that's what these tarot readers are betting on, that you are just going to be lazy enough and be scared into not making up your own mind. And it's sad, and it's the reality. And this needs to be told more. It might be hard to hear, but it's true. We have become so weak-minded as individuals when it comes to these fads on TikTok and all of these things, and it's not just tarot, that we don't want to put the work in because this random person named Tiffany on TikTok says that she can speak to the dead and she reads cards, so I'm going to believe her. Do we understand how ridiculous this sounds? I'm not saying tarot is fake. I'm just saying that these people have turned it into something that is of a circus show. We have completely lost what the art of tarot is really for. So then it becomes fake. I am saying TikTok has turned it into industrialized emotional content. When you combine vulnerability, algorithmic amplification, monetization, and zero regulation, you create the perfect environment for manipulation. Tarot at its best is reflective, it's symbolic, and it's powering, not a fear subscription service. So here is my message to any TikTok readers or just tarot readers in general that are listening. I urge you to respect boundaries and ethics. Avoid medical and legal claims, don't pretend to read minds, don't reduce complex symbolism to yes or no, and maybe write your own damn readings. The cards aren't dangerous, the monetization model is when it comes to people, okay? So readers, please understand that your words are bullets, okay? They are. They can ruin someone's life. Stop hiding behind psychic abilities. When it comes to tarot and psychic abilities, those two should be separated completely. At least tell the reader that you're for entertainment purposes only. This is for fun. Don't take everything I say to heart. Everything should be a grain of salt because sometimes people don't know these things. And you as a reader have that power and responsibility to tell someone what is real and what's not. I'm always going to say this. Magic is great. I believe in magic, but it's also important to be grounded in fucking reality. And these readers are taking away reality altogether. So readers, I urge you to change your ethics. Yes, it might hurt your bag in the end of the day, but really, is ruining someone's life truly worth the money? And if it is, you're a piece of shit. Consumers, anyone who consumes tarot, I hope that this diary entry, this video, is eye-opening for you. I'm not saying that your favorite tarot reader is fake, and I'm not saying all of them are. I know a handful of very great ethical readers who are not going to sell you a bag of bullshit, okay? They're just very far in between, right? When you scroll on TikTok, you're going to find tons of videos, just like you see the videos I've posted here. I don't even know those readers. I just scrolled one day and found all of them, and it's really sad. They were all on at the same time, right? So I would just say, take everything with a grain of salt, question everything, and remember, you are the author of your story. Tarot is meant to be a beautiful art form of guidance, empowering, symbolism, and it's supposed to be reflective. When readers start telling you as consumers, you have to do this. This is how someone feels. This is what needs to be done. Maybe take a step back and realize this person doesn't have what's in best interest for you. This person just wants what's in your pocket. I appreciate you guys making it to the end of this video. I know this one was a little tough to get through because it's so personal to me. And I won't stop fighting the battle on these fake tarot readers. I'm hoping that we can open up this can of worms really wide and start really getting these tarot readers to stop. I'm hoping it just starts with one person and then it just goes from there. So the word of the day is tarot. And I want you guys to put that in the comment section below if you've made it this far. And I do appreciate you. Again, I really hope that you guys do subscribe to this channel because if you don't, I will absolutely hex you and your whole family. No, I'm not kidding. I will. I absolutely will. Okay, I love you guys. I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Luna out.
Midnight dance circles, stars above they fall, casting shadows.